Hello everyone. Welcome to my teaching learning session and we continue with BPCE, Industrial and Organizational Psychology Unit 3. We started with work motivation and to continue with that, let's understand what is motivation again. Motivation is a prerequisite for learning. It is an urge, a drive. The terms like motivation, urge, drive, incentives, all of these looks very similar because motivation is a drive that pushes you towards a movement which is towards a goal directed behavior, and it is a prerequisite for learning or any sort of goal achievement that you need to be doing. So let's continue with the process of motivation. Motivation starts with a physiological or a psychological deficiency, which is there is an urge. There is an urge because we need to achieve something which is deficient in nature. It could be a need, it could be a motive, it could be any kind of behavior that we need, or a need simply that activates us to do a behavior which is driven towards for achievement of a motive, achievement of a behavior, achievement of a task, or probably anything that you're planning to do. So let's understand what is the process of motivation. It starts with needs. Needs is always something which is deficient in nature, and that's how the motivational cycle starts in us. Needs could be any kind. It could be a physiological need, it could be a psychological need. Physiological or biological need would be equivalent to hunger, thirst, and sex, and physiological need, psychological need, sorry, would be equivalent to something which is a power to influence, power of affiliation. It could be a power of the need to communicate, need to social belonging. All of those would be psychological need. So whenever there's an imbalance or deficiency in any of these needs, we end up having a drive, which is there is an urge. That need elevates that need. This drive is set up so that the need is taken care of and they are action oriented after this. So as soon as there's a deficiency which is created in us, simple example, hunger. As soon as we feel hungry, there is a drive which is initiated. So drive would be an urge, a mental tension which is created, which pushes us towards achievement of that deficiency, which is the hunger at the moment. So provide an energizing thrust towards achieving a certain goal or accomplishing a certain task. So the need for the food, which we just spoke about, or probably water, it's translated to hunger. That creates a mental tension, which is a drive. And further after this is incentive. Incentive is that mitigates a need and decreases the intensity of the drive. Thus, attaining an incentive tends to reduce the physiological, that deficiency that you have and creates a balance. So incentive is moving towards the goal directed behavior. So let's take an example. A child is very hungry. The child is there is a sort of mental tension or probably even physiological tension which is created, because of which the child runs around for food, asks his or her mother for the food, and as soon as he feels that the mother tells that you can have at the moment snacks which are kept in the cupboard on the second rack, the child just rushes, which is and eats it. So he rushes, which is moving towards goal directed behavior. Incentive is like an achievement. The child achieves the food, which is eats the food, and what happens? The need is satisfied. There is restoration of the need, but this need can come up again as a deficiency later. At that moment, the drive and the arousal is taken care of, but that need will come up again in the evening when the child will feel hungry again. So these are the process of motivation. Now moving to classification of motives at work. So what are the kind of motives that you have at work? So motives are ideally divided into four categories in two dimensions. Primary and secondary motives are extrinsic and intrinsic motivation or motive to understand. So primary motives are something which are completely unlearned. These are innate in nature, physiological need that could include something that you're born with, something that is a part of your body as soon as you're born. So it could be hunger, thirst, it could be sex, it could be sleep, which is such a mandation thing. Maintenance of the body temperature, which is the homeostasis. This is also a primary need. Homeostasis is the internal, external regulation to create a balance in the body. So, in summers, your body sweats because of the fact that it cools down your body. And in winters, you wear warm clothes and keep your body warm. In the cooler environment, again, regulates the internal and external temperature of the body. And these needs arise from basic requirements of life. So, survival is again a thing here. It is survival in nature, important for us to have, and they are therefore virtually universal, which is very true. Biological needs are something that at this point of time, at this age, I will also have in the same intensity. You students watching us at this point of time will also have these base the primary needs also at the same intensity. So it is universal in nature, but they vary in intensity from one person to another. In terms of the capacity is same. You all are experiencing this need. Some might experience the hunger at a higher intensity. That's the reason, there are people who are not able to diet, and the other end, there are people who are able to diet and exercise. That's again variation in intensity, but universality is there amongst all of them. For example, a child may need more sleep than an older person, which is very true. The child has broken sleeps and chains of sleeping patterns when they are young in comparison to the others. Now, moving to another set of motives, which is called the secondary motives at work. Secondary motives are something which are not innate, you're not born with them, it's learned. They are more social in nature. It arises from a result when you interact with the environment or, people, culture, community within that environment. Included in this category would be affiliation, which is your wish to be associated in a group community. Like any college that you're associated, it should be affiliated by UGC. So it's again an affiliation which provides you recognition, status to you. Also, there could be recognition, which is also a need, which is need to be tangible proof that one is getting ahead. Status is again a need in a society. Status is, your rank. Where do I stand? Then there is power. As I said, the need of power is one of the most impactful need today. Teenagers do not get to know, when we talk about need to power, it's not only coming from politicians who's asking us to vote, but also it's coming from social media influencer. We are sticking on to our social medias and watching these influencers for hours. That's also a need to power. They have exerted so much of influence on you that you do not leave your phones and you watch the social media for longer duration. Then there is a need of achievement, which is to complete a task or a goal. There's a need for independence, which is autonomy that we talk about. Secondary needs are strongly conditioned by your experiences. Also, it can be conditioned by the culture, the norms that you are a part of. It can vary from people to people. It can fluctuate very frequently. So it can fluctuate from day and night. People who have accomplished a goal, they have achieved the goal of affiliation, goal of achievement. So maybe at one point of time that the intensity of the achievement motivation would have been very high, but later it could go down because it's been achieved already. Also, secondary needs are subject to change across individuals to individual in time and situation. So, in the morning, it could be something else. People to people, it can vary. Family to family, it could vary. So, changes are highly in comparison to something which is primary. Primary needs are something which is universal. We all will have it. The only change, the only difference that we have is intensity. Let's move to the second dimension, which is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So, speaking of extrinsic motivation, it's related to tangible rewards such as salary benefits, fringe benefits, promotions, also contract of service, the work environment, conditions of the work that you're working in. So, this is intrinsic, which is the benefits which are coming from the external environment. External environment is something like patting on the back. That's also an extrinsic motivation because it's coming from your external source. Then individuals are externally motivated when they engage in work in order to achieve their goal that is apart from work itself. So at times people are doing an extra mile, going beyond an extra mile to achieve something because of that extrinsic motivation, probably a perk, an incentive, um, a salary hike probably that might be expecting. That could be something which is extrinsic motivation. Like the term suggests, extrinsic would always be coming from outside. Intrinsic, which is the next dimension that we are talking, the next part of this dimension that we are talking about is intrinsic. Intrinsic is the opportunity. It's such as you take it as a psychological reward, opportunity to use one's ability, sense a challenge, make changes in your achievement on your own, receiving appreciation, positive recognition, being treated in a caring and considerate manner. Individuals are intrinsically motivated when they seek enjoyment, interest, and satisfaction of curiosity, self expression, personal challenge in the work. So, when we talk about extrinsic motivation out, in a work environment, it's going to be doing something which is beyond your work. So, that's how you get someone supporting you, or probably someone praising you, someone giving you something from external. Intrinsic motivation talks about same appreciation, same reward, challenge being received by something which is, it's something which is taken from inside. So your ability to change, your ability to sense an achievement or a challenge. So intrinsic motivation does involves people doing an activity because they find it interesting, very interesting, and derive simultaneous satisfaction from the activity itself. So it's all internal. They feel the ability that I can do it, and they achieve a sense of satisfaction that I'm able to do it. So that's something which we call as intrinsic motivation. Now, coming to theories of motivation that we have. Theories of motivations are one of the most expansive thing that we are going to do, as the theories of motivations have been divided into three kinds. So when I say three kinds, we have three types of theories of motivation under which there are multiple theories that are coming. So there are like three brackets and categories. The first is content theories, then we have process theories, and then we have reinforcement theories. So let's understand what are these three kinds that we have. So we have content theories. Content theories are considered with identifying the person's need relative to their strength, goals they pursue in order to satisfy these needs. So in content need, in content need, we are trying to find out people's need in accordance to their strength. So a need which is there in relationship to their strength, and goals they pursue in order to satisfy these needs. So your goals are made according to the needs that you want to satisfy. Like having a timely meal. Your goal is to probably diet or probably lose weight. So your need is in relationship to the goal. So it's very equivalent to both of them. Now we come to something which is process theories. These theories are concerned more with how a behavior is initiated, directed, sustained, and attempt to identify the relationship between dynamic variables which make up motivation. So when we talk about any behavior which is initiated, so that you can sustain it, you can direct it towards the goal, identify the relationship within that behavior achievement of that variables, and keep up your motivation. So it's like achieving a goal, also at the same time being able to maintain that behavior, sustain that behavior, direct yourself, energize yourself, and identify the variables around it. So let's take an example. A child is participating in a race. So he feels that my behavior needs to be competitive. I need to be positively competitive with people, not to fight, not to get aggressive, and make sure that my practice, my warm up sessions are very very strongly taken. So obviously, behavior initiated. I need to be regular with my warm up and my practice sessions. So they are creating a behavior that is initiated. The person is it is directing the behavior. The child is coming every day. The classes are set up in such a way that the child finds it very interesting, and their behavior of coming on time and staying for practice session for 2 hours continues. This will make them identify that the child likes interesting session, which is dynamic other variables, and he likes something which is more creative and makes up, keeps their motivation also high. So this is process. What is happening through the process of achievement of any goal. Then we talk about reinforcement theory. Reinforcement theory is like more like an outcome theory. Content is how do you begin, process is what is in between, reinforcement is what is at the end. So this theory seeks to explain what type of consequences motivate different people to work. And it focuses how environment teaches us to alter our behaviors and to maximize the positive consequences and minimize the adverse consequences. So this is something in terms of explaining what are the consequences, what are the kind of consequences that will motivate different people. So maybe, for example, a person who at work completes a task does not like too much of appreciation but is happy with an incentive, so a money reward. So for a second person, money reward if not given and appreciated in front of 10 people, and the entire company knows that this person has completed the task, that could be the kind of positive consequence the second employee want. Maybe the third employee is one of those who's very very introvert. They want a certificate of appreciation landed on their table and do not want to communicate with anybody, like do not want to speak to anyone in person. So this is like the kind of motivation that we speak of in people. So when we talk about content, content is how do you begin your journey, how do you start with your goals. When we talk about process, Process is going to speak about something. What is in between? What is the content in between? The behavior is initiated, directed, and sustained. How do we keep the behavior motivated, sustaining, and make the activity so interesting that the person or the work employee does not lose the energy or motivation? The last is how to reward the different work colleagues that you have around yourself. So that finishes with the three kinds, which talks about content, process, and reinforcement theory. We will begin. We can also see process and content theories that we are going to start with. Today, we will start with content theories, the beginning theories. These are the Alderfer's ERG, one of the most famous Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Miklin's needs of theory, and Herzberg motivation and hygiene theory. Content theories are one of those theories that you can easily relate to yourself. It is associated to need satisfaction, how to start with a goal. So these are content theories would be something that you can really relate to, because all of us has need that we want to pursue and complete. So let's move to content theories. To begin with, content theories of motivation focus on factors to internal to individual that energizes and direct behavior. So it's equivalent to the fact that how you are motivated, what keeps you motivated, what are the kind of activities that you will like when we talk about motivation. So, also in general, such theories regard to motivation as a product of internal drives that compel an individuals to act towards the satisfaction of individuals' need. So, when we are talking about content theories, they are actually talking about drives which makes you complete a task, which makes you, complete an initiated need or complete a deficient need. So this is what a content theory is all about. That's why, this is the starting theories content, and the process is in the middle, and the last one that we talk about, reinforcement, is the last, which is at the consequence. Now, starting with the first theory that we have, this is the Maslow's needs of hierarchy. One of the most, as I said, it's one of the most famous needs, not only in psychology of industrial psychology, in social psychology, in psychology of personality. It's one of the most famous theories of Maslow. So let's understand, what did Abraham Maslow state about. This is a theory given by Abraham Maslow, hierarchy of needs. So speaking of these needs, he stated that there are needs of people which are arranged in a hierarchy, and satisfaction of these needs in these hierarchy are essential to achieve their highest potential. So let's start. I'll show you an image also. This will help you and support you in understanding. So when we speak about the first need, which is called the physiological need. So do you see the pyramid here? So when we speak about the pyramid, the first needs are the physiological needs. The physiological needs again are primary needs, like a primary motives: hunger, thirst, shelter, clothing, sleep, food, something that you cannot survive with. It's basic to survival, universal to all. We are usually born with it, and it is required for a good, what do you call this? For a good maintenance of your life. So sustain and maintain your life, you will need these physiological needs. And people look forward to these needs first. So if there's a hierarchy in a pyramid form, remember this is the need which would be achieved first. Then we move to security. Let's take an example. Your physiological needs have been achieved. And when we talk about the physiological needs being achieved, we move to the next. We move above the hierarchy. So these are lower needs. It moves from down the hill to up the hill. So we move to safety needs. Safety needs would be after you satisfy your physiological need, you want to be assured that you are safe, you're healthy, you are having a good, what do you call this, good association with people, you are making good friendship, good companionship. The place that you're working is very safe, and it is maintaining your economic level so that you can actually sustain your family. After, this is like safety security needs that you have of yours. Then move after safety need, after which is you keeping yourself safe, working at a safer place, having good association, and working with people whom you feel very very nurtured with, is safety need. After the safety need is achieved, we move to something which is the social needs. After social needs, the lower needs finish, we move to higher end needs. So that these three, the physiological, safety, and social, are lower needs. We always will start from the lower end to the upper end in the same sequence. After you've achieved the safety need, we move towards love and belonging needs, which are social. It is essential for humankind to associate with people, to work with people together, to what do you call this, to be able to sense an intimacy level with people, and to be able to have a connection. So once the connection, the friendships are formed, the association is formed, and we're able to connect with people, we move to the higher end needs. Higher end needs starts with the self-esteem needs. First, let's understand what is self-esteem. Self esteem is value ranking of a person. So, simply it's a value ranking that you provide to yourself. So, people who have a higher self esteem would be the ones who end up saying about themselves that I am one of the best speakers in my class. I comprehend the theories better than the others. So, this is value ranking that we have. Also, at the same time, we talk about achievement and self esteem. We talk about after you feel safe and secure, you feel loved around the people, you want to start achieving. You want to move towards your goals, you want to move towards achievement of these goals, you want to achieve the need of power, respect, autonomy, self confidence, and achievement. After you've achieved the respect, the power, influencing people, being able to achieve your goals, you move towards self actualization. So, when we talk about self actualization is something which is associated to morality. It is, it's creativity, it's spontaneity, and acceptance. So, self actualization ideally is associated to these needs. And what does it define to? Self actualization is defined as achievement of your highest potential. So, being able to achieve your highest potential, which is something which is the best in you of that need, is called self actualization. And it would be different for different things and different for different people. Realizing your fullest potential is self actualization, one of the last needs of the pyramid, and one of the for the completion of the pyramid. So we always start with physiological needs, safety need, love, esteem, and self actualization. Uh, when we talk about the pyramid, I'll give you an example which is associating to organizational psychology only. When we speak about organizational psychology, understand that when we talk about, let's take an example, you're going for a job interview and you're going to achieve and take up a job. So once you go and you've seen an advertisement and you've seen the pay package, remember you've seen the pay package, your physiological needs of hunger, thirst, and shelter, everything is going to be taken care. So the first reason that you take up a job and go for the interview and apply for that is physiological need. See, we take that first need completely at the first point of time. Then we move to something which is safety and security. So when we talk about safety and security will talk about once you go for an interview, you see while walking to the interview that the place is very safe. It's at a very posh hub of IT, or posh hub of schools that you want to work to, or hospitals that you wish to work, and you find that it's at a very reputed place. People there seem to be very friendly, and the environment there seems very friendly. People feel very homely over there, and they feel very professional. And the area that you're going through is easy to commute. You're able to find your your conveyance to move around. So this takes care of safety. Once you feel that you go there, you give up an interview, you find people very welcoming. You find the place physiological. I'm not talking about the psychological characteristic, but the physical characteristic also, which is the office is situated at a very safe place. You find it safe, then you pick up a job because the pay and the safety, the sustenance of your family can be done with the same pay, and you find the place to be very healthy and very safe. Now you pick up a job and you join. Once you join, you start interacting with people, you start forming relationship with people, you start becoming more intimate with them, you have a sense of connection and bonding. There's a lot of intellectual capacity which is matching with this group of work that you are doing. So this increases your love and belongingness. Once the love and belongingness you have achieved, you'll be able to target your goals. You'll be able to achieve, nurture yourself well. Pick up one assignment, do that task, achieve goals. Once you've been achieving goals after goals, you attain confidence. You start, stating yourself that I am one of the best workers in my in my this thing, what do you call this, in my job profile, people really like me, I'm one of the most lovable. You are ranking yourself. Once you rank yourself, you'll be after a month or a year, you'll find yourself achieving most of your tasks, coming beautifully in every task, doing well. That is self actualization, which is reaching to your fullest potential. Also remember, not all of us reach to self actualization, which is not all of us are able to, reach and attain our fullest potential. Remember, we never move up to down, we always move down to up. A lot of people who, like the example that I gave, for example, some people did not like the environment. The same example that I gave of the job, they like the pay package, but they find the place at a very, unsafe area. They might not take the job. So the process will start again to another job from the physiological need. So, to any need completion or any task completion, Maslow states that you always begin with the physiological needs and move up the hill towards self actualization. Also, self actualization is something that we all are not achieving, we all are not reaching. That finishes with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Hierarchy moves from the down to the up area. Now let's move to elder first, ERG theory. You will all see that all of these theories, content theory is talking about satisfaction of need, because this is the beginning. Content theories are the beginning theories that we have. So it will talk about need satisfaction. It will talk about what kind of needs are there in people in the company. First was Maslow. I gave you an example that how do we, form goals in our workplaces? How do we even pick up a job at times on the basis of Maslow's theory? Now let's move to Elder First ERG theory. Elder First ERG theory was an extension of Maslow's theory. So when I say extension, Elder pick up from Maslow's theory a little, and he extended from the same theory, picking up their hierarchy of needs and classifying them into three. So five Maslow's need was reduced to three here, and ERG is equivalent to existence need, related needs, and growth needs. So that's what ERG stands for. Let's begin in understanding what did Elderford try to classify these three into in 1972. He stated that existent needs relate to basic survival of humans. So as we say existence, this is similar to the physiological and safety needs suggested by Maslow. So this would be primary to your existence. You cannot go without it. It is survival for us, for our maintenance of our life and survival of our life. It is something which is basic to us. We cannot do without it. Monetary reward, working condition, incentives, money, living conditions, wherever you are living, the amenities that are given to you. So these are basic needs, and these are equivalent to the two of Maslow. Two of Maslow suggest of the physiological needs and the safety needs that we have. Now let's move to related needs. Related needs, these in an individual has a natural desire to develop social relationships. So this is equivalent to the social needs that we were talking about, the love, belonging. So related needs are trying to tell us that as human beings, we are social animals. So when we are social animals, don't we join at a place first and we probably move to a new place? We have this thing of, when we move to a new place, we have this thing of forming relationship, being with people, and working with people, forming relationship that you meet. So as soon as you join a workplace, doesn't it happen that you start connecting with them, forming friendships, start talking about likes or dislikes? He gives importance to these interpersonal belonging needs. He wants to identify and get recognition for himself. These needs are related needs. These needs are similar to social and esteem needs according to the Maslow's theory, which is very true. Social and esteem related needs are being able to connect with people, form your connection, form your friendships, and then further start up your achievements, start ranking yourself amongst your friends. Then we come to something which is the last, which is the growth need, which is self actualization. Equivalent to actualization, trying to tell us that all of us have that internal desire to grow, to achieve, to have a task, to move towards something or the other continuously. Tell me, I'll give you an example of a day. You get up in the morning, you do have a need that you want to fulfill, you do have a task that you want to fulfill. It could be an organizational career, it could be a personal life. Let's take an organizational example itself. As soon as you move to your work desk, you have bundle of work which you need to complete. So you make up a goal. So that's like your growth need of the day. Let's take an example. If that growth has to be a span of 1 month, it has to be like new skills I want to learn. Like during pandemic, teachers were also learning. They were learning new skills from online teaching. Students were doing online internships. So see how we were upskilling ourselves. So that is also something which is growth needs, equivalent to self-actualization. So summing up the entire ERG theory, which is existence, relatedness, and growth, equivalent. Do you see the picture that I've shared? Along with that, which is ERG. Again, existence as primary, it will come in the last, like at the first go. You need to complete the E first, then you will complete the R, and then you will complete the G. So that's how we talk about the ERG theory that we have. So that completes with the second theory of content parts, dimension of theories. Now, let's differentiate between when we talk about Maslow's theory and ERG theory, they seem similar. So when we are talking about they seem similar, we are, associating that is there any sort of difference between the two, or the models are equivalently same. The model proposes that growth needs are not only unlimited but are actually awakened each time the satisfaction is achieved. So they are trying to tell us that when we are talking about growth needs here, as soon as they're achieved, we will have another need coming up for achievement. Thus, while Maslow suggests that the needs no longer exist and motivates us. So, according to Maslow, once the self actualization is done, we are unable to, we would not be able to move towards that need again, which means once you've achieved that need, it does not exist. Whereas when we talk about the ERG theory of Elderfer suggests us that once the need is satisfied and it's complete, we will have another need at the same parameter. So yeah, when we talk about this, growth needs are unlimited, whereas the self-actualization needs gets completed. Once you've done it, it's complete and it's finished. It will not ever motivate you again. For an example, if a job provides a great deal of challenge and creativity, our growth needs might become stronger, leading to seek us greater challenges at work. But when we talk about self-actualization, once we've achieved a task according to Maslow's theory, that need is no longer present to motivate us. So that's the difference between the two. Also, it suggests that if an individual continually unable to meet the upper level needs, the person will regress and return to the lower level of needs. This is completely true for the Maslow's needs. Maslow suggested that if you're not able to achieve the esteem needs and you're not able to actualize, you will come down to your physiological need. You will start doing monotonous work to complete and get your shelter, move towards the upper needs, but move towards the second safety and then love and belongingness. If your upper two needs, the highest needs, are not being recognized. For example, if employees cannot find emotional support or recognition on the job, they might demand a higher pay for better health coverage, which is very true. So when people feel that, okay, I've not found any bonds in my workplace, I have no connection, they start looking only for money. They start looking only for sustenance as a compensation of not being able to find friendship, intimacy, connections, esteem in their workplace. So that's how, these growth needs are so dynamic in nature that we actually need them all the time for completion. So if you feel that you're working without any need satisfaction, it's not possible. I feel Maslow's and ERG theories are one of those theories that keeps functioning all the time. Speaking of that, when we speak about the upper needs, we need to know that there is a thin line between, when we talk about the upper and the lower need, there is a thin line between the Maslow's theory and ERG theory. ERG theory does talk about lower and upper need and going from down the hill to up the hill. The only difference is they say that the upper needs are growth needs are unlimited in nature. So this completes with the difference, and we read the difference from the image itself. Adler collapses Maslow's theory of 5 level into 3. So the difference was there was a 5 level theory. Here we have 3 level theory, 3 level needs in Adler. Adler says that growth needs strengthen us positively. Growth needs satisfaction, which is very true. Once you complete one growth need, you will have another, and your challenges become bigger, your achievement becomes bigger. Alderfer sees hierarchy only in terms of increasing abstractiveness, which is moving from down the hill to up the hill. Whereas Maslow stated if you do not achieve the up the hill needs, which is the higher needs, you come down. So we go back also. Alderfer says we only go up. Because once you reach up, you'll keep achieving one need or the other. Alderfer recognizes frustration regression as well as for satisfaction progression. So Alderfer also spoke about that how the frustration regression theory, which was suggested, he also incorporated the same in the need hierarchy that we had. So this completes with Maslow's theory. Very similar theory is ERG, which is an extension coming from Maslow. When we speak about the others, let's move to the next theory that we have. Same. We have similar theories of Herzberg of content theories, which is the starting theories that we are talking. So under content dimension, we had Maslow, we have ERG, now we have Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. So when we talk about motivation hygiene, so this was an account on the basis of research which was done by accountants and with accountants and engineers. So there were researches, multiple researches which was conducted on accountants and engineers. Frederick Herzberg, 1968, developed motivation hygiene theory. The central concept of Herzberg's two-factor theory is that factors which contribute to job satisfaction are taken as motivators, and factors that do not contribute and are contributing to job dissatisfactions are usually the hygiene factors, which do not provide us any motivation. So when we speak of this, remember, uh, taken an example, when they conducted a lot of researches on accountants and engineers, they found that people were usually motivated by factors which were contributing to their job, which connected as motivating factors, and hygiene factors usually led to dissatisfaction. So we will also talk about these two set of factors that we have. So apart these hygiene factors and motivators, Herzberg identified two distinct set of needs that we have, two distinct set of factors: intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors, apart the hygiene and the motivators. The two other factors that Herzberg spoke of was intrinsic and extrinsic. Again, see, the terms are so similar. Intrinsic would be something which is internal, and extrinsic would be something which is external. So speaking of that, intrinsic factors exist within the job. They relate to the job content. They occur at the time of performing the job. They relate to the positive feeling about the job. So intrinsic factors exist within the job. So it's within the job that you have, and it's also the motivating factors that we have. So speaking of motivating factors, when we talk about, they are equivalent to something that energizes you from inside. So if you want to be a part of the job because you love the job, you want to keep doing it all the time, that's an intrinsic factor, and that's also a motivating factor that you have. Now let's talk about extrinsic and hygiene factors. So we have the similar names. Hygiene turns out to be extrinsic, and motivating factors turns out to be intrinsic in nature. So hygiene factors are related to conditions of the job where the job is being performed. Therefore, they are somehow environmentally centered. They relate to the job context. They occur after the job is complete. They are identified also at times as job dissatisfiers and are associated to negative feelings of the employees. So, there could be possibility that job satisfaction is there in an employee because there is a lack of hygiene in the workplace. The employee is not able to take his or her nature's call in a day, and they were dissatisfied with the condition. Also, it could be that there is a lot of dust and dirt which is all around the work environment. There is lack of cleanliness in the work environment, which could be something which demotivates the employees to work. Whereas the motivating factors are kind that they're coming from inside. I love my job. I want to go every day. This is like the best kind of work that I've ever done. So it's coming from inside. It usually gives us positive feelings. And the dissatisfiers, which are hygiene factors or something which is in extrinsic factors, usually demotivates the employees. Now, moving ahead, let's look at the image on top. What could be motivation factors? Your achievement from within, your work itself, as I said, people loving their job at all costs. They love the kind of job that they do. Advancement, responsibility, achievement. These are motivating factors because they're coming from inside. Your need to achieve, your need to recognize, your need to advance, move ahead. That's motivating factors. Hygiene factors could be bad company policy, bad hygienic conditions. Working conditions are not good, timings are not good. They start at 8 in the morning, go on till 7 in the evening, like completing a 12-hour of journey in the workplace of the day. Also, there could be that there is no job security, there is no health insurance given to the work employees. Subordinates are not very good. There is no interpersonal relationship with the peers over there. There is a lot of technical malfunction at the workplace. So these all are contributing factors which are considered as hygiene, which is associated to more the external environment and the place and the context. They tend to create a negative feeling in the employees most oftenly. Now let's move to another theory. Now we move to Miklin's learned needs theory. Again, need are something which is very important in content dimensions of theories. So Miklin's theory started in 1971, suggested that needs are amplified or they are suppressed. So they are either accelerated or reduced through your self-concept, through social norms and your past experiences. So therefore, what do we say? The needs are learned. So you learn to accelerate your need because of the fact that people have a high self concept. There could be a possibility people are under a social condition where they're told that you are not allowed to work. So they will have a need which tells them, which suppresses their need to work and achieve. So, as we understand, Miklan suggested that these needs are suppressed through self concept, social norms, and past experiences. Obviously, when they are suppressed and they're amplified, so when you can increase and decrease it, it is learned, it is acquired in the environment. What are the basic primary needs according to Miklan? He stated there is a need of achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. So, need for achievement is the desire to excel, to achieve in relationship to the standards and pursue the goals. So, obviously, achievement is the desire to excel. It is the desire to achieve relationship to set standards and pursue and attain goals. Need for affiliation is, to desire to make friends, association, good personal relationship, interpersonal relationship at workplaces. Then there's a need of power. Need of power and I feel affiliation and achievement. These are such automatic needs which are bound to be present in an organization. Look at it as an organizational psychology setup. When you go to a job, need of achievement, need to complete a task, need to have friends along to work along with, and the need of power, exerting control over the environment and people is such an important thing that we want. So need of power is the desire to control one's environment and influence others. People with a strong need for achievement want to accomplish reasonably and challenging goals through their effort. They prefer tasks with moderate degree of risk and those that provide immediate and precise feedback of their task, which is very true. People who have a very high need of power, they will pick up a kind of task which is moderate in nature, not too difficult, also will give them an immediate feedback, will take care of them. Like when we talk about take care of them, will when we talk about will take care of their needs, give them an accurate feedback immediately. So they want something to happen in a loop, in a cycle, so that they get to know what they're doing is correct or not. Also, high achievers find accomplishment of a task to be intrinsically satisfying and they do not expect or necessarily desire accompanying material rewards. So, people who are very happy, like intrinsically very happy with their jobs, they do not always require an material reward. Also, when high achievers select a goal, they tend to be totally preoccupied with the task until it is completely successful or completed, which is very true. Until something is not completed, people will always keep looking forward to it. They will be completely occupied. So high achievers, once pick a task, they are completely engrossed. They're trying to tell us that how high achievers at a workplace look like. Let's go to the image that we have. Maitland's theory, need for power, affiliation, and achievement. A very simple theory that tells us that how our needs can be accelerated and reduced because of our self-concept, social values, and past experiences. Now, moving to process theories. We've done all of the content theories which talk about Maslow, ERG, hygienic motivation, and Miklin's theory. Let's move to process theories that we have. So when we are talking, well, let's differentiate between the two also. When we were talking about the content theory, those were theories that talk about need satisfaction. Process are more like cognitive theories, focuses on conscious human decisions, processes as an explanation of motivation. So these process theories are concerned with determining how individual is energized, directed, maintained in a task, especially willed and directed human cognitive process. So here we are talking about the process, that how a task achievement is happening and what kind of cognitive process, how are you thinking, how are you deciding, how are you problem solving. So all the cognitive processes here are something which are the focus. Where in the content theory, the focus was what are your needs and what are the what need satisfaction would you require. And all the theories spoke about what satisfaction of needs at a workplace, increasing of need, decreasing of need. Here it's more like a cognitive thought. Here we are talking about what do we focus while we are doing a task, what are the kind of decisions, what are the kind of goal achievements, what are the kind of analysis, reasoning, thinking are you doing. So also process theories of motivations are based on early theories of cognition, as I said. We are looking forward to cognition here. We are talking about how are you thinking, what are you thinking, and how well are you problem solving and deciding, reasoning. So, which posit that behavior is a result of conscious decision making process, which is very true. Motivation, if you talk about motivation coming from a Latin word movere. Movere means to move. So when we talk about a behavior is a movement. It is an overt response. Overt is something which is observable. You can see your behaviors. And whatever goes behind that conscious decision of making a behavior, that going behind the reasoning, thinking, problem solving, analysis is something which is process theories. Process theories of motivation provide an opportunity to understand the thought processes that influence your behavior. It explains how workers select a behavioral action to meet their needs and determine their choice. So, here we are not talking about what need and how need. Here we are talking about how workers select an environment to achieve those needs. So, what is the process? What is the journey that you require to complete that need or satisfaction? Now, let's come to something which is the first theory of your content when we talk about process theories. The process theories, first theory that we talk about today is going to be Vroom expectancy theory of motivation. Now, you will find a difference also over there. There we spoke about needs. What were needs? How are we completing them? Here we become a little more accurate, a little more objective in understanding theories. These are process theory. We will talk about the journey. We will talk about how are you processing or completing a task. So Vroom expectancy theory of motivation in 1964 suggested that motivation is a product of three factors: expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. So when we speak about all of this, remember your motivation to complete a task, motivation to do a task, motivation to do a job or a kind of project at your workplace will be equivalent to your balance, your instrumentality, and your expectancy. So let's understand. Expectancy is one's estimate that effort will lead to success. So obviously, an expectancy is okay, this is the amount of effort that I need to do. This is how early I need to start for my job. So there are some people who start working for their job as soon as it starts, right? As soon as it works. Also, as soon as when we talk about expectancy, that how much effort that you would require. I would require the effort right from day one, so I need to start today. So that's expectancy. Then we talk about something which is instrumentality. Instrumentality is one's estimate that performance will result in a certain outcome of reward. So instrumentality is you feel instrumental that this process will lead to result and a positive result. Then we have valence. Valence is the extent to which expected outcomes are attractive or unattractive. So, which is valence is that you get to know that whatever outcomes that are coming, are they going to be very lucrative, or they're going to be moderate, or they're not going to give us any benefit. So that is something that we talk about as your valence. Now let's move to the image that we have. So expectancy is effort. Effort tells you the kind of performance will you get. Is there going to be any performance? So will my effort will lead to high performance? Will my performance lead to any outcomes? And will the outcomes be desirable? Is something which is expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. So effort leading to performance, performance leading to reward, which is the valency, and reward are they lucrative, is your Vroom expectancy theory. And this is something that all of us do. You ever think any of the students who are studying industrial psychology and plan to execute it, pick up a task. You will feel once you pick up a task that is the task actually giving any performance. So you feel if I start working for a day and night, will my effort give any benefit? So you get to know that okay, if I'm working alternate days also, I will get a performance. You get to know that it's instrumental in nature. So you start performing alternate days. After performing that way, you feel yes, there is an outcome which is coming. I do see a lot of success in the working of 2 weeks, and it is very positive. So now you start having a valency that the desirable results are going to be positive in nature. Now, let's understand this. This is a beautiful level of motivation, margin that I've created. You all can refer to this. See, if you have a high balance, we'll have to understand this very, very thoughtfully. If you have a high balance, which is you know that the rewards are very high, remember, obviously, look at this. Expect you put in a lot of effort, you put in a lot of instrumentality, which is you know that the efforts are very high, you are getting a reward, and the reward ends up being very positive in nature. High will be strong motivation. So when you know that the performance is a big performance that I have to do, you all know that the effort needs to be big, and the result will also be big in that. So that strong motivation of the employee will happen for such an event. So let's take an example. There's an annual event happening at your workplace during Diwali. People know it's an annual event, it's a Diwali time, and it's going to be a huge thing. Effort needs to be more. More effort will give more performance will give more reward. Strong motivation. Then, if we know that there is high expectancy and high instrumentality, but the rewards are not very big, you tend to be moderately motivated. Fine, I will not get a good reward, but I need to complete the task. So if we feel like that, fine, the reward is not coming, but the task needs to be completed. Then this one is moderate. Then we come to you have a high expectancy. You put in a lot of effort, but there is no performance which is coming, which is you do not get a performance, you do not get an output, but the reward is very high. So this suggests that the effort that you put in is so much, but the performance which is coming up, it's very moderate in nature. It's not very big as a performance, but the effort that you've put in is too much, and you get a huge reward for it. Remember, such will lead to strong motivation. People will always work despite the outcome is big or small. Now, high expectancy, you put in a lot of effort, but you have a very low performance which is coming out, and a very low balance, which is very low reward. Here, the people are very moderately, motivated. The reason is because they are putting a lot of effort here, so they still feel motivated. Then let's take an example. People have a very big performance, but the effort put in was very less. But the reward got was also big. So you put less effort, but you still get the performance and you still get the reward. That's moderate motivation. People work sometimes, not work sometimes. So it's like a very neutral motivation that we have. Then we have very less effort put in. We have a very big performance, but you've put in very less effort for it. So there's an annual event. You did not put very much effort. You will not be rewarded for it. You will obviously be told how wrong the entire event went. This will lead to weak. It would be rather avoidance. You will not want to take up anything. You will escape work here. So this is weak avoidance, right? Is that good? So when we talk about strong avoidance, strong moderate motivation is avoidance is talking about how your motivation is. You do not have a very strong motivation, but avoidance suggests that you are giving a very high effort, but the instrumentality performance is very low. So you end up avoiding the task a little. Weak avoidance is that you do not want to be involved. You let the task be on its own without any efforts put in. Strong moderate avoidance is that your effort is very less. You given your effort, the outcome is okay, and the result is the reward is very big. So you moderated avoidance moderate is that you put in your effort sometimes, you don't put in your effort sometimes. At this point of time, the motivation levels are also going to be very moderate. You come like 5 days a week of job, you're getting work from home as a thing. So you pick up like when the effort is less, my work task is also such a small one, I don't need to go every day. I will go just twice. So you are doing a moderate avoidance. You are going to work, but not always. Strong avoidance is when the effort is very less. You know that the performance is going to be very low. I'm not going to get a reward. People will not go to work. They will take a lot of abstinence. Lot of holidays will not be on time, will not be regular. So see how strong motivation and strong avoidance comes into as per Vroom's expectancy theory. When we are talking about when we are talking about these things, when we talk about people being present at workplaces, giving their best shot, a lot depends on room's expectancy. When you give your employees a very tough job, which is very high instrumentality, and they put in a very strong expectancy, which is effort, and you give them a reward, the motivation has to be high. But if you reduce the reward, their motivation will be less. If you do not give them a reward at all, when they're put in so much of effort, remember what's going to be. Their avoidance is going to be moderate. They might be present sometimes, might not be present sometimes. So this is how avoidance comes into play. When rewards get less, performances gets less. So Bloom's expectancy theory is actually a very beautiful theory to understand the dynamics of a job at a workplace. So this was a beautiful way of understanding it. Now let's understand Bloom's expectancy theory in terms of these three components together. What's a valence? Valence is the strength of an individual's preference for a particular outcome. Every individual believes that his effort leads to a definite outcome, and this is expected utility or value. The greater the strength of expectation of the outcome, the greater will be the level of motivation. The balance can be positive or negative, which is very true. So when we talk about balance, the more effort and performance that you do, you expect both positive and negative balance as per it. So that's like the desired outcome can be positive, it could be negative. And the reward can also equivalently be positive or negative. At times we've done a task, but we get a very small reward for it. So that's like a balance being not positive but very neutral in nature. Then let's come to instrumentality, which refers to the strength of belief about a certain outcome. So it's like the image. Let's go back to the image, was so beautiful that we had. So this was, will performance lead to outcome? Will effort lead to high performance? Will the outcome lead to any desirable reward? So when we speak about balance, balance was reward. Instrumentality is performance, the expression of probability between performance and reward. So this varies from obviously plus one and minus one. The performance reward relationship is positive in case the positive instrumentality and vice versa. So if the task performance has been beautiful, you expect a reward. If the task instrumentality, which is you've not performed the task well, you do not expect a reward, which is vice versa. Now, expectancy is the belief of effort that leads to the outcome and performance. Therefore, expectancy determines the strength of performance rather than the outcome. So, your effort will not tell what you get. Your effort will tell what you get as a performance, as the task completion. So, it is believed that it is also equivalent to self-efficacy. Employees with high self-efficacy are more likely to believe that exerting effort will result in more satisfactory performance. So when we speak about, when we speak about here as people, we speak about people with high self-efficacy have the ability to control their outcomes, have the ability to understand and see through their task, and they feel that this is the effort that I've put in, and this is what the result is going to be. Such people's high expectancy leads to high performance and leads to higher rewards. But people who have a very low self efficacy, which means they feel, I don't know how much effort I've put in, I did put in a little more, but I don't know what is the result going to be. So the ones who are not sure of the amount of effort equivalent to the result, they have low self-efficacy. Low self-efficacy would be low expectancy. They do not know what kind of performance is going to be, and they do not expect a reward. They do not expect a balance. So person suffering from low self-efficacy exhibit the imposter phenomena. Imposter phenomena is something, anything which is given is fine. I'm fine with whatever is given to me, which is called the imposter phenomena. People suffering from low self-efficacy is known as imposter phenomenon. So this completes with the Vroom's expectancy theory that we have, that we talk about. Also, speaking of this, going back to the charter that we had, a huge charter that we discussed, remember, people with high self-efficacy will have stronger motivation also. Go back to the image on the bottom area. So people who have high balance, high instrumentality, high expectancy, the ones who are putting a lot of effort, doing a lot of performance, will get a high balance. Equivalent to strong motivation, equivalent to high self-efficacy. Now let's come down to the imposter phenomena. Imposter phenomena is the last one that you see, the strong avoidance. People who put up no effort, don't know what to do, what not to do, given a task, they are clueless. They feel that, okay, let's see, I will put up some efforts. I don't know what is going to be the performance, the confused state of mind. I don't know what's the performance going to be, and the reward is nothing. When you are not aware of the outcome of the task and the effort that you've given, that results to strong avoidance. Strong avoidance is equivalent to something which is strong, low self-efficacy. So, this is how we can identify the environment of your workplace according to Bloom's expectancy theory, which completes with the first process theories of yours. I hope everyone understood the class. Thank you.